Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Football 93. My name is Bob Behler, along with the head coach of the Bucknell Bison, Lou Maranzana. It was a tough afternoon for Bucknell out on the AstroTurf in Long Island. Hofstra rolled up a 28-0 victory. And, Coach, this was a game, it just looked like your team really never got started in the game. They came out, gave you a few breaks, but really couldn't cash it in to get off to a positive start.
Yeah, I think that my first important feeling about this game is that, you know, if you go to Hempstead, Long Island to play Hofstra, chances are every now and then you're going to find a real good football team there, and I think they played real well on this day, and I think that was part of it. We really never did get on track offensively. I thought we fought real hard in all throughout the game, and I thought defense really battled and tried to keep us in the football game for a long time, but we really, as you said, really never got on track.
When we look at the highlights in the first half and we'll show the stats, I thought the team was very fortunate to be down only 14-0 at the half.
Exactly. They moved the ball a little bit. We were fortunate to take it away from them in one key drive down there, and they did get some offense, and we really struggled with the first downs early in the game particularly, and so I think, and part of that is due to the fact that I think we were working hard, we were fighting hard, we were running the ball on defense and doing what we hope to do, which is to make them work hard and go the long way in order to score.
Let's take a look now at highlights from the first half out on Long Island, and Bucknell would get the ball first and get the first big break of the game. Couldn't get a first down, but here you're going to get a fumbled punt, and Steve Herbert, the snapper's going to be down in the recovery.
Did a good job there. He wasn't stunned or delayed on the line of scrimmage, got right down, gets on the fumble, and we've got some position.
Richard Lemon at the tailback spot runs up the middle for 11 yards. He'd only finished with 13 on the day. And then a couple of incomplete passes, and you're in that situation where you have to decide whether you want to go for it or punt or kick the field goal, and the drive will stall.
Right. We go for it there, and we had several opportunities, as in that pass, to make big plays thrown up the field and didn't really convert them.
It seemed to me like on some of the passes that they just were a little overthrown or underthrown. A good break on the ball there by Hofstra's defensive back to knock it away from Gentile, who was held catchless. This drive here, maybe you can talk a little bit about what the run and shoot tries to do. The passes look simple.
Oh, the run and shoot is simply going to spread the field and try and read the zone coverages and throw in between the zones. And on Saturday, George Beisel did a real outstanding job of just going for the open receiver, and there wasn't a lot of space. And I think you'll see throughout the game here in the highlights that he's really sticking some balls in between folks.
Beisel was 29 of 39 for 322 yards, and here is a play that really helps the defense out. Captain Russ Strohecker comes up with an interception in the end zone. Hofstra has moved the ball 70 yards. They come up with nothing on their first possession. And, Coach, I would have to say that with the old bend but not break, you had to feel pretty good about coming up with a turnover there.
I felt good about the effort, and I felt good about the things we were doing. I thought I wasn't sure that we were kind of breaking quite as aggressively early on as maybe we needed to. We also had a couple of opportunities to intercept a couple of others that I think that kind of went through our hands that might have been big factors.
The run and shoot's a very foreign kind of offense. Were you pleased with what you had designed against them? I mean, it looked like the people were open most of the day.
I think we were pleased with basically with the design of what was going on. The one thing that we were disappointed in is that we weren't able to pressure them as well as we wanted to. We wanted to be able to blitz them some, and when we did, they did an outstanding job of taking advantage of converting versus the man-to-man coverage and crossing receivers and picking off our coverage guys and made a couple of big plays.
Let's resume highlights in the first half. Bucknell wasn't able to move it. Hofstra on a 9-play, 70-yard drive. I think the thing that impressed me most about Beisel is he threw it within 2 and 3 steps and really never gave you a chance to come in and rush.
Exactly. When you're talking about just a four-man rush, most of the time the ball is going to be gone before even Superman can get near the quarterback. So, you know, once again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your zone coverage snug enough that there isn't a whole lot of space in there for them to try and stick the ball in.
Interesting statistic on the run and shoot. Of their first 27 completions, 21 went for at least 10 yards. Only 1 went for more than 15. Great tackle here by John Caldwell. He was injured with a knee injury. He'll be severely missed by the team.
Right, he certainly will for some real hard play he's provided. That's a great example there of them sticking the ball in between 2 or 3 guys. We had a chance.
They really did a nice job of just threading the needle on several cases. Craig Svensson goes around left end here for 8 yards. This coming after a Hofstra missed field goal and a Bucknell punt. tough break here. You look like you would have the first down or be close and get a holding call. A lot of penalties in the game, and they seem to come at inopportune times for us.
Right. Well, we're kind of working hard and struggling to get some offensive consistency, and I think what you see is the penalties injure that. There's Travis trying to get go for a short yardage first down and comes up just inches short.
And we're 1 for 15 on third downs, although I think it was almost 10 yards average per third down. But it's going to be a long afternoon if you're looking at third and long, 3rd and 10 every time to try to convert.
Right, exactly. You know, you can look at it a lot of different ways. So we ran some things effectively early in the game and maybe not quite as effectively later. We threw it a little bit more, had some success throwing it, but still when it came down to the long yardage situations, we still had great difficulty.
Why has it been so hard for this team to string things together? I mean, at times it looks like we move the ball real well, and then we get in a good position, and then all of a sudden, 3 downs, we can't move the ball.
Yeah, if I had a real easy answer for that, I'd probably be out, wouldn't have shown up in the studio today. I'd have been out doing something else about it. I just feel like, you know, we need to do more of the good things and eliminate the few negative things that have happened. And I don't think there is any quick and easy answer to that.
Second quarter now begins at Hofstra, and I thought the defense played much better against the run and shoot. You got a couple of sacks and then forced a fumble, and at that stage you had a chance to get the ball game back within 7.
We're again here running the ball. Unfortunately, they come out early in the half and get the you know, in the second half rather, and get a great position.
Here's where the defense turns it up. It's 14-0 now. Hofstra totally leading the statistics. You get a sack from Sean Browser. We're going to see a sack from Jeremy Patty, and then Andy DeFalco is going to recover a fumble, and it looked as if you were getting the pressure you were wanting.
Right, I got myself a little out of sequence.
So did I. I led you on the wrong one. My apologies.
Right, we got a few big plays. Jeremy gets a sack. We're rushing some. We get a fumble. They put the ball on the turf, and we got another chance here to reverse the momentum in the game.
Now here it has been all Hofstra. We're going to see the next 4 plays. The first one, Svenson's going to pick up a nice gain, and then they're going to run Svensson again for not much, and you're just getting down to the 20-yard line. I don't think you cracked the 20 all afternoon.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have a lot of goal line offense here. They kept us out of that zone.
You've got a 3rd down and 6 now, and it looks like it's almost completed, but is this designed, or do you ideally want to pick up something a little shorter to get the first down?
No, this is a check, and we felt we had an opportunity to throw it in the end zone, and certainly did there. It's one of 4 during the day that could have been big plays. We're just inches away.
And then a tough break on the snap on 4th down. Rob Gluss never really had a chance to get the play going. 14-0. We'll give you an idea of what the statistics looked like in the first half. Bucknell was outgained a total of 311-71, but the 3 turnovers, I think, Coach, really kept you guys in the ball game.
Right, you know, that I think when you see the run and shoot, in a lot of cases, they're going to get a lot of yards, and there are going to be some situations where, because they are throwing the ball around a lot, they're going to either blow you out, or they're going to do 1 or 2 things wrong that are going to give you an opportunity to stay in the football game. Either way, you got to make some offense to counter offense.
It seemed like 2 years ago, they maybe didn't get the yardage they got, but it seemed like they made a couple of big, long plays that got them in the end zone.
Exactly. They scored. They struck quickly and easily, and in this football game, it really made them kind of labor to get there.
Now we'll get to second half highlights here. The opening kickoff, I think, was a great call by Hofstra because you've got such an aggressive special teams we'll be taking a look at on our feature a little later. A reverse against a team that's very aggressive, I think, would pay off.
It was a good play, but it was also a good play against us at the moment because we got a couple of new guys in the kick team there that are replacing John Caldwell and a couple other guys that were injured in the first half.
And this was the touchdown, I think, that was kind of the backbreaker for Hofstra. They made it to 21-0. They get a nice pass here from Beisel. He's hit as he throws, and I don't know how Corbett comes up with it, taking it away from John Henry. And then we're going to see, I think, a couple of defenders for Bucknell kind of picking themselves off down here around the goal line as Beisel throws his 3rd touchdown pass.
Exactly. This is another one of those man-to-man situations, and they got the coverage man picked, and they're in the end zone.
Come back with a very nice drive. As soon as that touchdown is scored, and then again, as it gets down to their end of the field, it starts to bog down. Maybe compare Gluss and Kopp. Both of them had mild success, I guess. Yeah,
I'd say they're still very even in terms of their execution. I don't think the the execution of the football team has been greatly different with either of the men. You know, it's not just your throwing, but also the, you know, the kind of your captainship that's important there. But they're both working at it, and you know, I expect them to both be able to provide.
We talk about penalties giving Bucknell problems all day. Here Glass pulls out and hits John Sikowski down inside the 10-yard line. Yellow Hanky calls it back for holding, and then we're going to see a punt, a great punt by Rich Miller, going to pin him back inside the 7, and they say somebody lined up offside?
I was not very happy about this and remained very unhappy about it after looking at the tape. They said that our left tackle was lined up too deep in his alignment, and
didn't look that way to me.
I can't see it.
And then, again, they call the illegal procedure. There were a couple calls in the game that were a little bit questionable, in my opinion. And here they'll score their final touchdown. They used a little bit of that option. And, again, that option is very effective when you're able to throw the ball as well. So.
Yeah, the option's a nice complement, the veer option that they're running, because they're not going to do it a lot, but when you do pass rush things, it can be very effective.
So Hofstra overall was a pretty good team again this season, I think.
Hofstra is a good team. They've got some outstanding athletes. My point about them on this Saturday, that when we're on Long Island, is that they played very well. I thought George Beisel played very well. He put the ball where it needed to be. I thought they caught the ball as well as they've caught it all year long, and you know, they played hard and played aggressively, and outdid us from their defensive standpoint.
Finally, how do you think the team handled the turf? You know, there were a couple of injuries that might have been attributed to that.
Yeah, we had some injuries, which we're obviously upset about. As far as handling it and playing on it, I think that they handled it fine.
What's the status of Caldwell, Mays, and Zappa, who got hurt?
Well, Caldwell's definitely out. He's got an ACL, and Mays, we're fairly sure he's got an MCL bad tear and will probably be out the rest of the year. And Zappa is what we're still waiting to hear.
Well, hopefully he'll be back soon for you guys. Good defensive linebacker on the squad. We'll be back to talk to a couple of Bucknell's defensive players, defensive tackle Jeremy Patty and linebacker Andrew Welty, as the show continues after this timeout.
This is the Bison Weekend Review. I'm John Terry. Bucknell's women's tennis team won last year's Patriot League championships, but the 1993 tournament held this past weekend at Lehigh didn't go quite as well. Bucknell finished 5th as a team. Bucknell had 2 entries in championship matches, with Sarah Allen in number 3 singles and Christina Luter and Kim Carlson at first doubles. Army won the overall championship. Bucknell's men's soccer team won a very important Patriot League game on Friday, 1-0 over Lafayette. Junior Rich Shaheen scored the game's only goal for the Bison, who are now 3-1-1 and in second place in the Patriot League. Bucknell's women's soccer team was beaten at Lafayette on Saturday 3-1. Carrie McDonald scored her 7th goal of the year for the Bison in a losing cause. Last Thursday, the volleyball team beat Lafayette 15-10, 15-7, 15-7. Sophomore Katie Steele, last week's Patriot League Player of the Week, was solid again with 15 kills, 4 service aces, 7 blocks, and 4 digs. Freshman Heather Rendell pitched in with 16 kills of her own. For Bucknell Football 93, I'm John Terry.
Catch the action. Feel the excitement. Experience the thrill of Bucknell football as Coach Lou Maranzana leads the Bison down the field to victory and another season of football excellence. Don't miss out on any of the action. Call the Davis Gym Ticket Office now for ticket sales and information at 717-524-3301. That's 717-524-3301. Bucknell is ready to take on the Patriot League. Are you?
We're back on Bucknell Football 93, joined by our player guests today, Andrew Welty and Jeremy Patty from the Bucknell defense. And Andrew, coming back off of an injury last season, you had a hip injury, were out all season. What did you do to get yourself back in playing shape?
Well, Coach Thurston kind of took me under his wing during the season last year and off season, and I worked out with him every day last year before practice. He took me through my doctor from home gave him the proper prescription for the rehab of my hip. And he took me by the hand and took me through every day. And it was a lot of hard work. You know, it's a lot mental when you see your buddies out there playing well, having a good time. It's difficult to stand by and watch. But you know, you always had the future to look forward to. And you know, I'm glad I'm back now. I'm a lot happier now.
In what ways do you think are you better for it all? Did you have a chance to maybe observe football? Did you learn anything the year you were off?
Just how much I love to play. You know, I don't know how many times I said it. Don't ever hear me complain about having to go to practice because, you know, the little things really bother you. You know, just being a part of the team was I felt it's like an outcast a lot of the time. And it was that was probably the hardest part, not being a part of the team. And now that you're back, I can remember the first time I was back as a normal player in the off season. It felt good to be back as a regular player. And I just enjoy football so much that it was hard to be out away from it like I was.
Well, Jeremy, you're in the defensive line this year. Last year, you were one of the linebackers. Has that been a tough adjustment going from the smaller position up to having to face a lot of those guys that weigh 295 pounds?
Well, mentally it's a lot easier. I'll say that right now, because linebacker, you got to drop in pass coverages, but defensive line, it's like, here you go, we're gonna play football. We want you to try to tackle that guy or rush the quarterback. It's pretty cut and dry. So I like that aspect, but it is a lot more physical. You're hitting somebody every play.
You played, I think, was it end when they switched you partway through the season, and now they've got you inside tackle?
Correct.
What's the greatest difference for that adjustment?
Well, I think tackle has even less responsibility than the end, in that there's no contained responsibility for the tackles, and you're basically either, trying to cause a pile, causing a big pile so Stroh can get all the glory and make all the tackles. But or you're trying to go straight up the middle and sack the quarterback.
Had some good play out of all four of you. There's four guys that basically rotate for two positions. Has that been key to keeping people fresh?
Well, yeah, it helps a lot when you're coming in and you're staying hungry all the time, and you don't have time to think about being tired whatsoever. Just every play you want to make the best of it, because you don't get that many.
Andrew, as far as linebacking, we've talked about covering, playing the run. As you said before the show, you enjoy playing the run more.
Yes, I think it's because I'm a little better at playing the run than I am the pass. I've had a lot of trouble this year, but just keep working and keep getting better. I've just thought, high school was mostly run, and you enjoy playing the run, tackling, hitting. Passes a lot more finesse, agility type things, and the football I like is the hitting the three yards in a cloud of dust. The run and shoot was a boring week for football. I mean, it seems like they're going away from what you grew up to like.
Seems to me that a linebacker was a tough position. You're almost like a man without a position against the run. You either want defensive line, it seems, or secondary in the game.
Yeah, I like to tease some of my friends who play secondary, and that the best athletes in the field are the linebackers, because they've got to play both the 200 to 300 pound linemen and the 150 pound wide receivers. It's a two-way street. You got to be able to do both, and it's difficult.
Jeremy, we talk about playing against the run and playing against the pass for a linebacker. Differences, I'm sure, in the defensive line as well. We saw you come up with a sack in the highlights, and again, you got to be ready, although not as much against Hofstra, but against a lot of teams, you got to be ready to fill as well as to sack.
Yeah, well, the run and shoot's it's kind of a whole different game for a defensive lineman, because a lot of the defensive linemen, whole thinking, even how minimum it may be, but you got to figure out if it's going to be run or pass, and then from that you make a pass rush move, or you fill your primary gap. But in this game, it was like they're sitting there in a 2-point stance, say, we're going to try to pass block you, make a move. It's like schoolyard football, 1X, 2X, 3X, make a pass. You knew it was going to be pass every time.
So we finish up the interview, Jeremy. Why don't you tell people at home a little bit about yourself? I know you're from Ohio, you're a junior, but maybe what's your major in, and anything else that might be interesting about you?
Well, I'm a management major, and try to get decent grades.
That's good. And Andrew, we'll share with the folks at home, when they look at the credits at the end of the game,
Yes.
at the end of the show, they'll see your name appear in the crew. Andrew's doing double duty today, running his camera in the show here.
Yes, that was one of my the pluses of being out last year. I got to be involved with the Bison Show every week, and so I do a cameraman behind the scenes for a football show and then the basketball show. It's it's something that you can look back and say, yeah, I was lucky that I got hurt.
We were lucky for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's been fun. I enjoy it. It's another aspect of college life that I get to enjoy.
What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in economics. I'm a big Steeler fan, big Pittsburgh Steeler fan. I know a lot of my friends on the team would like, go Steelers.
Well, thanks for joining us on the show today, Andrew and Jeremy.
Thank you,
Best of
Bob.
luck this week against Brown. We'll be back with more here on Bucknell Football 93 after this 2-minute timeout.
Since
1846, scholars have come together at Bucknell to ask questions and explore answers. Inspired by the fresh spirit of the newest students and the seasoned wisdom of the faculty, this meeting of minds fosters achievement. Bucknell professors enjoy national reputations, and Bucknell students are known for their intelligence. Their lively exchanges extend from classrooms and seminars to informal meetings in faculty offices and the campus snack bar. Bucknell is a comfortable place for the tradition of the classics and the demands of today's society. The arts, humanities, and sciences thrive alongside professional programs in engineering, education, management, and music. The environment for this growing diversity and the ongoing meeting of minds is a very beautiful campus in central Pennsylvania. Bucknell's stately buildings and beautiful trees and gardens provide an ideal collegiate setting. Bucknell, with 3,300 undergraduates and over 260 faculty members who sustain the spirit that is this university and who carry it with them throughout their lives.
At Bucknell, the balance between academics and athletics is accomplished as well as it is any place in the country. In fact, recent NCAA statistics show that for the second consecutive year, the Bison led the country in the graduation rate of their student athletes.
Many factors contribute to this. The student athletes themselves, their coaches, their professors, and the administrators here, as well as the support of Bison fans. Another factor contributing to the overall athletic success at Bucknell is the work of the Bison Club, a group of interested persons whose support enhances all 26 men's and women's varsity sports here at Bucknell. Membership to the Bison Club is open to all followers of the Bison, not just Bucknell alumni.
We would invite you to join the Bison Club today and receive the Bison Roundup newsletter and stay up to date on all activities of Bucknell athletics.
For more information, write to the Bison Club in care of Bucknell University or call 717-524-1358.
We're back in Bucknell Football 93. Our feature today is going to be on the special teams, the kick coverage, and it's been a pretty good unit for Bucknell's special teams this year. The 4 hitmen that go down and make the big tackles.
We've had some guys that really have brought a lot of attitude to that area of the game, and that's really what it's all about. It's just attitude and some concentration and hard work, and something I think that our guys have had some fun with.
Tom Trainer takes a look at this group, the 4 hitmen that go down and make the tackles on special teams, and it's our feature for this week's show.
The 4 hitmen. No, they are not a new team in the WWF, but are the key players on the Bucknell Bison special teams. The special teams are usually overlooked by many coaches in collegiate football. However, this week on Bucknell Football 93, I'll be taking a look at why the Bison special teams are proving their value.
Big Bob Horse, Steve Noteboom, Charlie Crudup, and John Caldwell, otherwise known as the 4 hitmen, are frightening kick and punt returners on the special teams. This tandem's attitude, along with their play, produce a highlight each week with bone-crushing hits and spectacular plays. The Fearsome 4 described what type of person it takes to play special teams for the Bison.
Special teams in general, that's hard because it's a lot of different kind of people, but I can tell you kickoff, you just got to be crazed. You got to, as far as I'm concerned, kickoff has nothing to do with football. You get on the field on kickoff and you're releasing every ounce of aggression you have from the whole week. You're just running down the field and you're trying to hurt somebody. No matter who's in your way, you're trying to hurt the person with the ball.
Me. Got to be like me. I just don't care.
How is that?
I don't care what happens. I just don't care. Just run down and I don't care. Well, to play special teams, you have to be mentally into the game, and you have to be willing to give up your body. I mean, especially on kickoff teams, you just have to go down the field with reckless abandon and try to take somebody's head off.
It takes a pretty intense person. I'm usually in the zone, like I said. I just fly down the field. It's just fun. It's all about having a good time on special teams.
The catalyst of the special teams is Coach Brian Bassard. His enthusiasm carries over to the special teams, which explains their success this year. Coach Bassard gave us an overview of the special teams and the 4 hitmen.
That's one of the most undercoached phases of the football game. Everyone wants to get offense and defense, but that's something that you can really control on how successful you're going to be in that phase or not. We put one emphasis because, to be honest with us, You got to win three phases. You got to win the offense, you got to win the defense, or you got to win the special team. Right now, I think on my kickoff coverage, I've got 4 guys who got that type of personality. You took a look at Steve Noteboom, make some great plays on Saturday. Bobby Horace opens up the season, just running out there and throwing his body around. Charlie Crudup, and I think the epitome of special teams, and everybody who I've talked to wish they had John Caldwell on their special teams guy, because he's got all you need to have on the special teams: speed, size, strength, and he just doesn't care.
The 4 hitmen have shown everyone the commitment that Bucknell has made to the special teams this year. So far this season has proven just that. I asked the 4 hitmen what was the biggest play they have made this season on special teams.
The one play that I remember the most was against Dartmouth this weekend. We did kickoff, and it was our second kickoff to them. Our first kickoff went out of bounds, and I was really mad that they accepted the ball to 35, but then we kicked off again, and I just came running down, and I just saw his numbers, and I tried to rip his head off.
I know in Dartmouth, I mean, we were, by that time, I think it might have been 31-13, and I came down on a kick, and the returner bobbled the ball. And the feeling inside, I can't even begin to describe the feeling inside me when I saw him bobble that ball, because I just came down and tried to lay as much wood as I could. And when I got up, I felt like the biggest man on earth.
There was a 4th down, Penn had the ball, and we had just been hit with a Clifton penalty, but they had been hit with 2 other penalties, which offset, so we had a chance to do the play over. And David Strickland, one of our tackles, he got in on the punter, forced the punter to run, and I stepped up and made the tackle. That was the biggest play on special teams for me this year.
The best play was probably during Bloomsburg this year, when I went down the field and made the tackle, and I saw the sidelines getting up. The sidelines is a big deal, and the players yelling at me, getting up, and Steve and JC coming over and hugging me, and that's what it's all about.
With half the season remaining, the Bison guarantee that the special teams will be a valuable asset this year. Plus, with the tenacious play of the 4 hitmen, there will be no question that they have proven just that. For Bucknell Football 93, I'm Tom Trainer.